Good morning. Go with wet hair underneath the hat, and it's all good. It's all good. Today's show is going to be mesmerizing. I've got two amazing guests. We're going to talk about born to be more. When you believe you are made for something greater, you believe it, then everything is possible. So I've done a quote for us for today. When you believe you're made for greater, the universe gives you wings. I am so excited for today's show. I want you to go inside of yourself and find your shine, your beautifulness, and what makes you uniquely you. And if you are serving others with love, there will be a healing impact, and you will be able to change the world forever. So I am truly excited for today's show. Very excited. So are you ready, my beautiful viewers? I am ready. My guest is ready. I am going to play my sponsor's video, Ted McLean, and then my guest will be in the house. So here we go.
When somebody starts talking about money, do you just black out and say, that's not me? Yeah, I get it. Man, I've worked with people all my life with helping them make better money decisions. And I just wrote a book for you. It's a book about my experience helping people who don't like money make better money decisions. Take a look at it. It's available now on Amazon.
Hello, my guest is in the house. My guest is in the house. So I prepared something today. So my beautiful viewers, before I am going to ask my beautiful guests to introduce themselves, I wanted to read something I prepared. So Ted, a retired USMC Lieutenant Colonel, financial behavior expert and best-selling author, with a mission to revolutionize how people think about money. Ted empowers others to uncover their money temperament and discover financial freedom through emotional and behavioral awareness. So Ted, I think that is in a nutshell, but please introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Hi, I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and I don't sing, I don't dance, and I don't play instruments. However, all my children do. But we've been here for a while. We love it. It's a growing area. It's a dynamic area. But most importantly, it's a position in the center of the United States where I can reach out very easily and help people take better money choices.
Thank you. And when I talked to you yesterday, I said the way that you are speaking, it feels for me as a woman that I can have money and I can make money and I can do with the money that what I want. I just need to be aware of it and then make better decisions on it. So thank you so much, my beautiful Ted. Cristiano, I would love to read yours as well, and then I am going to ask you to introduce yourself. You, Cristiano, is an intuitive soul architect, a conscious family mentor. Christina offers holistic guidance to family, children, and consciousness parents, helping them to navigate adolescence and trauma with emotional healing, forgiveness, and I love the forgiveness part. For me, forgiveness as well is a big thing, and spiritual grace. So, my beautiful Christiana, is that more or less what I was right? And then, can you please introduce yourself? Okay, I cannot hear you. Let me just unmute you. You are welcome to go, my beautiful one.
Oh my God. So thank you for having me, Sanet. I'm happy to be here with you and Ted. And yes, I'm Christina Heike. I'm originally from Germany, living in the United States. And I am working with the outer and the inner family, I like to say, because we all have like a lot of family drama that we've internalized, and family imprints that we have internalized, and that also influence our whole money story and how we handle money, right? So that's where that connects with Ted's topic. And I'm, blessed to have a very special modality that I've been trained by Dr. Kenneth Blakely, who developed it. It's called New Decision Therapy, which is really working with the body's wisdom, bringing it into consciousness, and then consciously releasing with forgiveness. And that's where the forgiveness comes in. And yet there are so many other tools before we go to that really deep work that is very helpful for the family emotional legacy and also the health legacy. So I also support with the nutrition aspect and herbal supplements, etc., in order to create a lifestyle and an environment in which, parents and children can thrive. Children are our future. Let's do it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, my beautiful Christina. So, my beautiful ones, our theme for this month is grow and possibilities. So, I want to ask you a question, both of you the same question, and then there will be individual questions on the title for the show, Born for More. So, if I say born for more, what does it mean for you, my beautiful Ted?
Oh, born for more. What a great question. That's what we are as humans. We're designed to do that. It's born for more that crossed the oceans. It taught us how to fly, to do very, very crazy and impossible things. And I think it's unfortunate that a lot of people have lost that connection. They forgot that we're wired to chase opportunities, to thrive. That's what our brains help us do daily. That's the definition of humans. And it's that aspect of humanness that I think, unfortunately, is getting kind of pushed aside. Now it's the scarcity mindset instead of the abundance mindset. And I think we need to get back to that. And I'm really, really impressed with Christina's doing, because my experience as a financial advisor working with a lot of families, I saw the results of dysfunction and bad decisions and the impact. But I was powerless at that time to do anything about it. And I'm very excited about the opportunity to be here and partner and talk about this in a much broader area. So we have infinite possibilities, infinite opportunity. We just need to unleash it and go for it.
My beautiful Ted, if somebody's on the edge but still think they're not worthy, is there something that you can give them to tell them, go for it?
Oh, absolutely. And again, we know from our research, it is for my books and at Dream Smart Behavioral Solutions, that children as young as 3 and 4 understand the concepts of scarcity and abundance. And they're naturally wired to that. And it's ironic, in my opinion, that often we put structures around them to limit that. And I think, again, it's the other opportunity we need to move for. And I think Christina, in her work, is working towards that to help people give safe boundaries, but the engine to go forward, as opposed to constant no, 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 and limiting behavior. So we are wired to do this. And there are studies that say it even happens in the womb when we start hearing things and interacting with the environment. So we are amazing animals. We just need to kind of unleash that again.
I love it. My beautiful Christina, what does the meaning born for more means for you?
I have so many thoughts when Ted is speaking. Like, there's so many things coming up that I would love to bring in. What does it mean to be born for more? It's a wonderful question. I think it really speaks to our innate wish to grow. Like, look at a little, like a baby, right? It comes out basically like undone, right? The other animals, mammals, they're all ready to walk like half an hour after they're born. We're kind of coming out being completely helpless. And yet you see that baby like bit by bit, how it has a drive to learn and push it himself up and try to pick up the head and all of that like ends in then finally them sitting up and crawling and walking. And it's almost a symbol for what we do also as humans in the wider sense of our life, right? Like try to grow, try to understand something better, try to grow in my work, our emotional capacity. And I have also experienced that it is not for everyone, even though it could be for everyone, but not everyone is interested in that as deeply as some are, right? And that's also okay. We all have our parts we're working on, and that is also becoming more and more. I wish it wasn't only material, like if that's a sense. And money is an interesting animal, right? Because in a way it is very material, right? A lot is crystallized around money, but at the same time, it is it's an energetic component, right? It stands for something because the piece of paper is worth nothing, but it stands for something, and it impacts us emotionally so deeply. The scarcity, the abundance, and that's something that is also handed down the generational line, comes from our ancestor line, and I think in another conversation I mentioned it, that my parents were children in the Second World War and experienced hunger and scarcity and all that. And so that even impacted myself, how I deal with things, right? It gets handed down through epigenetics and, of course, the behaviors we pick up. And so it's almost as if the baggage we get is our fuel to become more and more, to unpack it and polish the diamonds that are in there.
And if somebody is on the edge, is there something that you can bestow on them to say, you can go for it? Like that bird that is kicking a little birds out of the nest because it's a necessity for them to fly. Kicking it out. Yeah. Tell us.
Well, for me, it's really like reach into yourself and connect with God and walk forward. It's really, and for my clients, obviously, I'm also holding and helping them on that edge to make that step.
Wow, I love it. So I want to tell you something I told the grandchildren, not this, but when I came last year, I was trying to tell them that they can be as amazing as they want to, because God made the apple tree, and I was giving the example of the apple tree, that the apple tree knows he's an apple tree. So I was like making like suggestions. He's an apple tree, and he has to ground himself because he wants to grow big. We make all that so that especially my grandson was still then 4, could understand. He can be as what he wants to be. And then I want to say, you want his values, and the family must ground him into the ground so that he can be steady and he has manners, because was talking about manners, and I was talking about the apple tree, and I said to him, but my beautiful one, just remember the apple tree knows he's an apple tree. He's not a pear tree. He knows he will bring out the most beautiful apples. And the first thing that my 4-year-old grandson said, Omi, is it red apples or green apples?
Sweet. I love the example. I love it because it speaks to like knowing yourself, right? That's what I help people with. Know yourself so that are you an apple tree or a raspberry bush? And if you're an apple tree, don't try to grow raspberries. That's going to be very frustrating in your life, right? So, and I think that's also what I see happening. People getting frustrated. They're trying something that is not it's not who they are, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yes.
deeply knowing yourself. Know if you're a beautiful apple tree, a tomato, whatever. Like, and I love that image. That great image, Sanet. Yeah.
Thank you. But I was still having all these thoughts about how to explain this to Lou. And when he said, I said, okay, you're an apple tree. And then when it was planned, it would be a red apple tree or a green apple tree. So you will know. You will know. You know you've got an amazing heart. You know that you are kind. All that. Oh, and he was so happy. He was so happy with the apple tree
Beautiful.
story. So, my beautiful Ted, I'm going to ask you a question. Um, how did your journey from a Marine Corps to behavior finance involve?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Just as a side note, one of the questions I get more often than not is, "I can't believe you were a Marine," and I'm kind of going, "Well, what did you expect?" But anyhow, that's a long story. I came out of college, took a commission in the Marine Corps primarily to get some worldly experience. I had no intention of making it a career, but the Marine Corps gave me opportunities, and most importantly, I had an opportunity to work with some very, very amazing people. And people from all cultures and perspectives, and learn how to bring people together and form a team from very diverse backgrounds, cultures, points of view, and put them together for a common mission. And that was enlightening to me. But the Marine Corps also sent me to graduate school a couple of times. I taught economics at the Naval Academy. And at the Naval Academy, I learned that some of the brightest young people in the United States who were going to go out and do amazing things were acing economics in the classroom, but failing miserably in life. And I really started wrestling with the conflict between the book teaching and the life teaching. You're being held accountable for the life, not the book. And that's where I started coming up with the concept that it's how you behave is much more important than what you know. Knowledge is a foundation, it's a tool set, but behavior is the essence of what we need to focus on. And that led over through the rest of my career. I was in charge of training for the Marine Corps, built a schoolhouse, ended up as an aide to the Secretary of the Navy for financial management, worked with our government. And there I found that those people are incredibly dysfunctional with money. But I also learned that they also bring their own bias, their own point of view, their own upbringing to the table when they're talking money issues. And that's tough when you've got a country the size of the United States with 350 million people. And well, politicians are politicians. They seem to think they know everything. But when I retired, I became a financial advisor and took the traditional route. Worked with a couple of large traditional companies in the United States, did very, very well. I was a top producer, but I became totally disenchanted that it was all about product and services. Who have you talked to lately? Who have you brought in? How much is your business doing? And to be very candid, it was not much about the client. And it was a very Darwinian process of natural selection that those that want to do it will do it, and we don't care about them. We only want to keep the high producers. I also learned very early that my job was not to manage money. My job was to manage behavior. I also understood implicitly that in most relationships, there was a lead and a follow and distinct points of view about money, which also led to conflict, also led to anxiety. And unfortunately, it often didn't unfold until there was an incident in the family, usually somebody passed or whatever, and I'm dealing with the survivor, and I'm finding that they're 180 out on money thinking, or they really don't understand what's going on. And that's not the time to figure out that you've got a can of worms and you can't get them back in the can. So that's when I started moving down the course of behavior, because as a Marine officer, I spent 20 plus years building and nurturing and rewarding good behavior. Why don't we carry that over into money? And that became the catalyst for me to take a look at this and say, listen, we do behavior with everything else. Why don't we do it with money? because I know in my heart that we are emotional animals who think. We're not thinking animals with emotion. And if you can push that in the right direction with some adult supervision, it's amazing what we can do.
Wow. I love it. Thank you, my beautiful Ted.
Oh my God. Yeah. So amazing. I didn't even know how much overlap Ted and I have
Yes.
before coming to this conversation. And like what really struck me, that example of like the high officers that decide over like tremendous amounts of money and for the whole US.
Yes.
And imagine if they haven't taken care of their intergenerational and childhood trauma and are driven by their emotional needs and their emotional impairments, if you will. How is this supposed to be a good decision? And so for me, it's really, while I work with families and kids right now, I would love to work with like the top tier executives that are the decision makers in order to have better decision making on all those levels, on all those huge decisions, because we cannot help but be influenced by what we carry from our past.
Oh, absolutely.
Unless we release it, that's like, yeah,
Yeah. Goosebumps.
yeah,
Oof. Put it
that's
on.
yeah.
Well, I want to go one step farther. And one of the things I want to do is bring together the traditional financial literacy and planning industry and meld it with the wellness industry.
Yeah.
You can't talk about wellness and not talk about money. And you can't talk about money without considering wellness. But we don't do that. As a matter of fact, if I ever got heavy into the behavioral piece with a client, at the time I had a supervisor, he would get all over me because that's not what we do. Our job is to sell a product. But how do you sell a product if you don't understand the behavior? And
Right.
I'd be very, very conflicted. And on the other side, I'd work with outstanding, magnificent coaches that were scared to death to talk about money.
It's a very interesting dynamic, and money is really like almost like an amplifier and catalyst to see those behaviors and to be able to start working with them. Yeah.
And so one of the things I'm so excited about being here with Sanet and Christine and some of the folks I've met here is now we're bridging that gap. And I think we're moving forward with a new movement that says none of this stuff is mutually exclusive. Western culture is very comfortable putting things in nice, neat little boxes and then making sure the boxes don't touch each other. And then put in all kinds of barriers so they never touch each other. And then put bureaucrats in the middle to really make sure they never touch each other. When in reality, it's one large box. We just move around it constantly. And we need to figure out what's important. In my book, the first part of it is nothing more about, I call it the three things that conspire against good money decisions. It's our biology. We're just not wired to be good with money. Number two, our humanity, our belief set, our values, and our culture that are fundamentally the most important real world drivers of your spending behavior. And then technology is nothing more than a way to amplify our spending behavior. That's what we don't talk about in the financial planning field. We just kind of ignore that. And that's wrong.
And we ignore it because we ignore it in ourselves usually, right? People who talk about it, they're like, yeah, no, I'm okay. I don't need like support or therapy, or I'm fine, right? And meanwhile, underneath, it's like, help me.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing how we constructed that narrative.
Yeah, and then
wellness is a total marriage.
Absolutely. And then the other part, and Christine, I'm sure you're just as frustrated when something is broken, emotionally, real world, regardless, if there's something dysfunctional, we tend to be very reactive, not proactive. And we tend to be reactive in a very strict binary process. And what I mean by that, let's go back to my young Marines again, often the first time they ever had real money. And it's amazing what a young 19, 20-year-old Marine can do with money that is absolutely ridiculous, but it made sense to them at the time. Okay. We've all done that crazy stuff. But when they make a mistake and they bounce a check, we never talked about the behavior. We added a disciplinary action. You're never going to do this again. Often took money away from them as a fine and then wonder why they were miserable, as opposed to attacking the behavior, the knowledge base. And that's what's fundamentally missing. And this is what all of us are trying to fix here. It comes down to who are you? What's important about money to you? What are your basic behaviors? Where'd those come from? Now let's build guidelines that work for you, not some generic one-size-fits-all approach. And this is where I love the wellness industry, because you not only embrace that, that's your mantra. You are you, but in the money industry, it's no, you are we.
Well, I even thought of money and wellness in the sense of money can be a huge stressor in our lives. And I think many families watching this can relate to it. If you have too little, it's a huge stressor. If there's not a constant flow of it and you don't know if you can make ends meet at the end of the month, that's a huge stressor. If your children want more, but you cannot give them, that's a huge stressor. And on the other end, if you have a lot, that's also very stressful on the family. Yes. Because it encourages a lot of dysfunctional behavior and a lot of dysfunctional spending, right? Absolutely. And then that gets kind of like back to you and makes you emotionally dysfunctional. So like, I think on that emotional level, like not just in sense of like, it's good to coach around money. I think it's really very deeply intertwined how we feel. You know, if I don't know what comes in at the end of the month, wow, you know, my wellness is deeply impacted, right? My anxiety levels are higher, my stress levels are higher. That has an impact on my emotional and physical health and spiritual health.
So, yeah. And in my research and examining that, and my conclusion was we've gotten away from the concept of values. In the financial industry, the money industry, it's all about goals. Goals are things. I want a new car. I want a new house. I want a different lifestyle. And you have measurable linear goals that it's all a function of time, money, rate of return. Very simple. Plug one in, but they never consider the behavioral piece. I spent a lot of time, and I think we're going to talk about this more next week, of helping people just define or answer the question, what is important about money to you? But from a very deep introspective point of view. And when most people, it's legacy, family, freedom, choice, not stuff. But we have a culture that drives us to the stuff. And technology is the force multiplier here. I didn't know I had to follow Korean K-pop bands until my granddaughter showed me a T-shirt in Korean with a song I didn't understand and she didn't understand, but these folks are making millions of dollars in the United States. 10 years ago, I wouldn't know they existed.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you. So my beautiful Christina, what decision or what did you, let me just get to my question. I tried to put in your website, but it was too long. So my beautiful ones, Christina's website is New Decision Therapy, and it's
nyc.com.
nyc.com. So, and Ted, your website is just behind your name and mine as well. So what called you to support consciousness, family and youth? What was that calling? Why did you decide to do this?
Before I answer, great question. Like also when you Google my name, you will find my website. So, or that should be easy. What brought me to focus on family? Well, I come from a family that I would describe as a very average family, but also in my experience, a very dysfunctional family. So as a highly sensitive child in a non-sensitive family, I felt like I got, stepped on and walked over constantly. And so I brought a lot of emotional baggage, a lot of, childhood trauma. And I was determined to not let that determine my life. Right? I was like, I see myself repeating behaviors. I don't want to do that. Right? I want what Ted described, the freedom, the joy, the connections, the relationships. I want that, and that was my mission, to find something that is really able to release those emotional imprints from generations and from your childhood that we all get, right? And some get more dysfunctional ones than others. And how to release this. And there's not that much out there that is really able to help you get free of these, right? There's a lot of chatter and a lot of woo-woo and a lot of think pink, philosophy that kind of is like putting makeup on, but it's not really doing it. And so I wanted something that can go to the root and release those emotional blocks, to really allow people to be who they are, to be that apple tree, or to be the raspberry bush, or to be, that to know yourself and know why you're here. Right? And also like to bring the spiritual level in, what your soul came here to accomplish. So we come here with a baggage, we have to unpack it, work through it, because in the problems you also have your gift, and then you contribute, you bring something to the community, to the world. And for me, I lived in so much, like I always describe my childhood as living in a war zone, right? You never knew if you, when you would step on one of those landmines and get thrown, to create more peace and harmony in human interactions and in the world.
Beautiful. And you mentioned something just when the show started, and I wanted to ask you this question. Why is grace such a vital part of the healing process?
Because it extends a feeling of generosity to yourself. And then others, but like to yourself. We are often amazing at kicking ourselves and demanding to function properly. And I think in the military, there's some aspect of that, like to be like, be always on time, be always this, be always that, and don't allow our humanity, right? As you described with a check, right? There's a human aspect to it, and we need to work with that human aspect. That's why we came here as humans. Come on. We didn't come as machines that like have a perfect, well, not even those have perfect function, but have grace to give yourself the space to heal, to make mistakes and to correct them, and say the wrong thing and to apologize and reconnect with the person, right? That's grace for me.
Yeah.
That's incredible, beautiful. So my beautiful one, Christina, when we come back from the commercial break, you're going to ask Ted any questions, and then Ted, you're going to ask Christina any questions. But first of all, I would love to thank all my amazing Slim Soul supporters, Natalie Chilton, Coach Eve, Mary Bailey, Tammy Williams, Nina Williams, Nina Malik, Cindy Editing, Christina Heike, thank you so much, my beautiful one. Donna Miller and beautiful Ted have joined yesterday. So Ted, thank you so much for helping me to continue with the shows. There's so many stories out there, and there's so many people that doesn't really have the means to pay something to be on the show, and the stories is important. So thank you for helping me to continue. Then I want to please play my next sponsor for this today's show. It's Eve, and at the end I will play. Ted, you are going to be my sponsor for a whole 10 episodes. I will play your commercial again. So get your questions ready. We will be back in a jiffy. Thank you.
if the first, you must heard about me. I'm here to take this opportunity to personally invite you to this amazing one-day event. We're bringing together 12 powerhouse warriors, coaches, to personally work with you and break free from overthinking, uncertainty, emotional or physical pain. This event is unlike other events. We are bringing music, dancing, breakout rooms, workshops, different modalities, different techniques which you can implement in your life and break finally free and unlock the possibilities. So 2025, limited spaces, so hurry, grab your spot today. See you there, October 4th, 2025.
Wow. Thank you, my beautiful Coach Eve. I will also be a speaker on that day, so I'm looking forward to this amazing. She does all these amazing events, and I would love you, both of you, to meet her, go on her podcast, and then in her future events. She makes it different. There's something different about her events. You can also be guest speakers because both of you are exquisite, if I can say that, with your message of your heart. Thank you so much. So, Christina, would you like to ask Ted your question, my beautiful one?
I have to pick only one.
For now, yes.
Well, let's see. What would our viewers like to know? I'm thinking that might be helpful. What is an essential tool to help someone unlock their abundance?
Oh, wow. That's a question of the essence. I think the first thing is understand that there is an issue. That
Super.
Yeah, first identify that there is a problem. And I think a lot of people never get to that point, and they just kind of meander through life miserable and never get to that point. And it often, it's a very significant emotional event that triggers the change. And it could be anything. It could be positive, it could be negative. But if you look at lottery winners, most of them are broke within 18 to 24 months. Professional athletes, there you go. Well, you're here today. I guess you didn't win the million. Okay.
Did it already come up? I just bought it yesterday.
I have no idea. Professional athletes don't get it. So I think in a lot of respects, we're chasing the wrong markers, and that's a social issue. And most of these markers we think that are important in our life are arbitrary. They're imposed by somebody else. And we move towards them, and it could be appearance, it could be the physical structure, it could be the culture we live in, our peer group, what we wear, how we talk. I've traveled around the world, and I found that everything we're talking about here is universal. It is simply translated based on the filter of the culture they happen to be in, but at the essence, we're all more alike than we are different. And once we understand that, and we can start stepping out without guilt or judging towards something that's important to you, and the only perimeters I put on it, is it morally acceptable? Is it legal? I'm not going to be going that direction. But for most people, what they really want is peace of mind in their chosen lifestyle. That's what I try to give people. And once you understand that it may not be having the house like the person down the end of the street, that's amazing. And you're good with that. And the other hand, we've got to treat other people not to point fingers at them and say, you've got to have the new fill in the blank because, well, you can't be part of the club. Peer pressure is an amazing force.
Yeah.
And it starts at mid-adolescence, and it happens all through life, and we tend to fall into it. But technology, again, amplifies that. So does that give you a good...
Yeah. I think that's like one of the sentence I want to highlight is have peace of mind in the lifestyle you choose. So like there are so many coaches out there that's like, everyone is a millionaire. You just need to get there. And it creates a constant rat race, right? Hamster wheel race, rat race. Is that like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And is that healthy? Is that a peace of mind with for yourself, right? Like, are we constantly chasing the shiny object, or
Right.
are we realizing, okay, who are we in the world? What are my capacities to bring in? How can I live so I can live with peace of mind with that? Right? And challenge myself on the boundaries a bit and grow. Yes, please. Yes, please. But like, don't drive yourself crazy with it. And that's what I love. That's a great sentence. Peace of mind with the lifestyle you choose.
I
That's a
love
great
it.
tool also for all the listeners, right? Take a good look and don't look at the neighbor. Look at yourself, and then decide and give yourself grace.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. So, my beautiful Ted, are you ready for Christina's question?
Yes. Being a new member of this side of the street on the coaching wellness global environment, what was your initial reaction when you said a financial guy was going to be here? And then on the other side of that, why don't more people in your profession actually search us out to partner and collaborate?
Well, I'm officially doing that exactly right now with you. I'm seeking you out to partner. Let's have a conversation afterwards. I think that can be really beneficial. Um, I'm very open to money, like to looking at money, and I've worked with a money coach, which was unfortunately not worth the money, but okay. Especially coming from a background where my parents did not want to talk about money, right? And they were very frugal, even though my father had a good income, right? And I think they were kind of stunted in their emotional experience of the World War, and they
Yeah.
did not really grow out of it. Um, and so in that sense, money was always something I also kind of like worked with, or like for myself. And I'm sure there's still more to go. Um, I think it's important to connect it, and also with charging prices. Many people in the wellness industry have a very huge problem to like sell something, to charge a specific price that's also like wrapped up in this. And so there's a lot that actually connects both fields. And I had wished that was a thing when I was younger, so that I could have built differently on my money journey. But, I give myself grace. It is what it is. I'm glad we're having the conversation, and I can only invite people to take a good look at it. And that doesn't mean you have to shout from the rooftop your money story. That's not what this is about. But have a few trusted people you can talk with and consult with. Seek like expert help, like Ted, for the emotional piece. Maybe it's wrapped into one. Now that Ted and I are gonna collaborate.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, what I think is so important, these fields are so big and so deep and so important. I think it's dangerous to try to be an expert in both. They change rapidly. Unless you're a professional working in them full time, you can't stay current with it. I know what I'm good at, and I know what I don't want to do. And I'm not going to get over in that space because I can't handle it all and do it well. But I do know that money is a subset of what you're doing. And this is something that I think is really important. A lot of people don't think about it. I believe we have natural behavior. It's who we are. It's a combination of a lot of things, but that's who you are 99% of the time. A subset of that is money behavior. Money behavior is not the dominant. It's a subordinate. So I come in after you've kind of pulled the cap back a little bit. You go, whoa, there might be some things over here. This is something, and usually what you have to preface was, don't worry, he's not a sales guy. He's not going to sell you anything, okay? Because 99% of the people in the industry are salespeople. And once you understand it, and I get it, but you need to know up front. So I see Sanet, what you're doing here could be very, very powerful of bringing these two very large industries that are monolithic. A lot of them are driven by one or two or very small handful of celebrities that kind of be moving the needle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what we need is a bottom-up movement of collaborators like ourselves that are actually going to the same place through different directions. And we're supporting each other. They're mutually supporting behaviors, mutually supporting problems and issues. I could only attack money, but it does nothing for the rest of it. If you do only the behavioral piece and this other stuff, but you don't count money, it's still not going to work. So we have to start coming together.
That's beautiful.
I love it.
Yeah.
So my beautiful Christina, we had a book launch for Beautiful Ted last week, and I laugh because it was also a test run for my Soul Diamond publishers, and for especially for you and a few other ladies that I am helping with their books now. So you are in the process of writing your book, and I am your book coach as well. I cannot wait for your book to come out, because your book is, for me and my point of view, exquisite. So how do you feel that you will be able to have that book of yours out soon, my beautiful one? How do you feel? I know it's a possibility. You always wanted to have a book, and now the possibility is nearby, if I can call it like that.
Yeah, and now that you're calling it out today, like officially, publicly, it like I can feel it. I'm really getting excited. And I really think this book will be helpful for people on their emotional journey. And while we talk about like money legacy, I think the emotional legacy is really the substance that carries the family, right? The money is the fuel for it, but if you don't have the emotional legacy, it's like you're gonna stutter also on the money side. So I'm excited, and I hope it will be really helpful. It will weave some of my background, my story, with how I use different tools and modalities to work through things. I will have practical examples so that people can really start experiencing and experimenting with it, because you always have to find what's good for you personally. Find your lifestyle, choose your lifestyle, find peace of mind, choose your tools that help you to find more peace, that help you grow, right? It's not a one size fits all.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm encouraging. Be your own explorer and detective, and learn how you function. If you buy a car, you read the freaking manual, and you like to know what to do with it and how to handle it and how to maintain it. Like, figure your own manual out, and I help you do that. And this book will also be a support for you in that.
So while you were asking Ted the question, I got a nod from God to say that the two of we're gonna do something together. You gonna both are doing something on the book side as well. So just want to let you know, FYI, it was not me. I got a nod from God. I will come back to you both with that, because I think the concept will be amazing. So my beautiful ones, our show is almost finished. And I know it didn't go the way, but I think I know it even went even more than I would have ever expected. I worked out the questions yesterday. I always love to say I program my love into preparing, but the outcome was even so much than I ever could program yesterday. So my beautiful Ted, thank you so much for being my sponsor for 10 episodes. I can just say thank you, thank you, thank you. Here is your commercial, and then we're going to do our paparazzi.
When somebody starts talking about money, do you just black out and say, that's not me? Yeah, I get it. Man, I've worked with people all my life with helping them make better money decisions. And I just wrote a book for you. It's a book about my experience helping people who don't like money make better money decisions. take a look at it. It's available now on Amazon.
And we are so excited. Ted is going to give us a free masterclass on money behavior, especially on the value side. And it's for anyone that's in the Diamond Beauties Forever group, the women's group, and in the men's group, Tanzanite Euros. So we're going to promote that this week. I'm so excited for 9th, 11th. You said September the 11th. We're going to have this masterclass. My beautiful Ted, what is your golden nugget for today?
My goal for today?
Your golden nugget.
Oh, my golden nugget is I can work with people on the other side of the road that are in the coaching wellness business, and they're really great people. And we're more similar than we were different. So all the rumors I heard aren't true.
Are you ready for paparazzi?
Yes.
Here we go. My beautiful Christina, what is your golden nugget? And I'm going to put this ones on now.
Oh my God, there's so many. I think I want to encourage the people, the listeners, that there is a way through all this that might look like a mess, that might feel heavy, that might feel like, oh my God, you're throwing your hands in the air. How will I ever solve this? There are people out there that will support you and will walk with you and will find what works for you so that your emotional legacy and your money legacy can flourish and keep your family legacy going.
Wow. Are you ready for paparazzi?
I am.
And mine is, if your why is big enough, you can do anything. You can do everything. And I'm ready for paparazzi with my iron glasses. My grandson said, Xander, he's 10 years old. He said, Oma, you have to get these cool glasses because the Diamond Beauties is going to love it. My beautiful viewers, I know we have touched so many points on your agenda, but not only your agenda, but also your heart, because you have to work on you and you have to be happy with you and your decisions. I hope that you are going to connect with both of my guests. And yes, please do go Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And if you look down below in the show notes, there's also more information. So I want to wish you all an amazing day. Please look after yourself, smile often, and keep on dancing. Mwah. Bye, everyone.
Bye.